Jeremy Hunt is still in the race for number 10, and his campaign chairman, Sir Patrick McLoughlin, joins us now from Derbyshire. Thank you very much for being on the programme this morning. Before the break, we heard from Boris Johnson. Do you think he would make a good Prime Minister?
Well, I think the person who will make the best Prime Minister is Jeremy Hunt, and that's why I'm supporting Jeremy Hunt. If Boris wins, I will support Boris in the very difficult job that he will have addressing the country's issues, and not least of those is ensuring that we leave the European Union as quickly as possible, and preferably by the 31st of October.
In the interview with Boris Johnson, he spoke about the deep feeling of anguish he feels over the case of Nazanin Zaghari-Ratcliffe, but he said that Iran is responsible. Do you think he's right there?
Well, he is right in, obviously, Iran is responsible for holding somebody in their jails, and somebody that should be released as soon as possible. And I think everybody has got a great sympathy with her family. I think perhaps some of the language that Boris has used has not helped the case.
I also decided in the interview to really kind of focus on some of the policy issues rather than Boris Johnson's private life. But it feels as if he's struggling to escape that. There's more revelations in the Sunday Times today. Do you think that Boris Johnson's private life is an issue, or do you think that actually he's well within his rights to say that this is a matter just for his private life? It's not something he needs to address?
He's well within the rights to say his private life is his private life, and that is the case. And what we've got to do in this campaign, and what Jeremy Hunt is doing, is focusing very much on the issues. So what I was very disappointed about with Boris in his final response to you, he would not agree to do a face-to-face debate with Jeremy before the ballot papers go out. It's all very well doing one-to-one interviews, and you did give him a very tough interview, but really we do need to see face-to-face interviews between the two main candidates that are standing to be the leader of the Conservative Party, and by that very nature the next Prime Minister of this country.
And of course that invitation is still open for Boris Johnson if he does want to come along and be quizzed by Kay Burley next week. Now,
Yes, and not just... And not just, it shouldn't just be on one TV channel, it should be a few. He's agreeing to do them after the ballot papers have gone out. That's too late. He should do them this week before the ballot papers go out.
Now, in the interview, I also asked Boris Johnson if he's trying to have his cake and eat it when it comes to his spending plans. But I have to say, Jeremy Hunt's spending plans aren't exactly, totaling up, are they? The Institute for Fiscal Studies says that actually what Mr Hunt has promised is actually more expensive than what Mr Johnson has promised, costing up to £65 billion. I mean, he's trying to have an even bigger cake and eat it here, isn't he?
Well, what Jeremy is doing is setting out the plans that he would want to implement over his period of Prime Minister. It's not all saying that it's going to happen in day one, but what is vitally important is that we attract more businesses to this country. We create a culture of wanting to invest. Jeremy has the advantage of somebody who set up a business, employed 200 people by the time the business was sold on. That was a huge achievement, and he knows what businesses, what entrepreneurs need. We can spend more money when we earn more money, and that's the important point. A good health service relies on a good economy. A good education service relies on a strong and good economy. To spend that money, we've got to earn it.
Well, if Jeremy Hunt is the entrepreneur that you say, then surely he will be quite concerned by these quotes from the Institute for Fiscal Studies saying that his policies would amplify the long-run challenges facing the UK public finances and wouldn't leave any scope to relieve the pressure on other spending departments without tax rises or more borrowing.
And I think you can see from what Jeremy has done since he's been in the Cabinet. He's been in the Cabinet now for 9 years, and in the department he's worked in, he's looked for savings where those savings were to be made, but he also left the Health Service, having secured the largest, biggest investment in the Health Service we've seen for many a year, some £20 billion extra on top of what was already planned. So that is somebody who says, doing the job of Prime Minister of this country is about, there's two ends to it. There is, of course, the economy, but there is also the public services that people want, expect and demand.
And just finally, you're a former Conservative Party chairman, so you know the membership and the grassroots pretty well. Do you really think they're going to pick Jeremy Hunt to be the next Prime Minister?
I've always taken the view that you never quite know the results of an election until you hear them. And I think there is every chance. I think Jeremy is picking up a lot of support in the country. If you look at these hustings, people going in sort of saying they're sceptical, coming out saying that they're going to back Jeremy Hunt because they were impressed with the way in which he answered the questions. And if Boris is so far out in front, I come up with this again. Do a public debate with Jeremy before the ballot papers go out.